This pen is not there, good for me. Thank you. So, can you ask him to give me the FY 23 budget? Because right now, I'm not prepared. FY 22 is different from FY 23, by the way.
All right, so I don't know about. Everybody hear us? Everybody? Camera hear us? Anybody that's in remote, can you hear me? Can you hear us? I see somebody waving, but that's not a verbal response. Can somebody
Oh, I
verbally?
hear you.
I hear you, Jerry.
Yes, I could hear you.
Doing fine. Keep
We
going.
were muted.
Can
Can hear.
Sam, Larry, can you get speak? Can you hear? Everybody hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You hear me?
Testing, testing.
Yeah.
I hear. Testing.
Yeah, I hear. I hear too.
You're hearing fine, right?
Yes.
Chris, let me make you a co-host. So you can help out if necessary. Particularly with muting people. So we're ready to go, y'all. Well, I don't know if you want to reach out to Oral or I know Ken was supposed to reach out to him. I haven't heard from him.
Accept it. Thank you. He just got out of his train.
Hazel and Oral.
Who's slacking on the door here?
Do you have
Oh,
Wi-Fi?
that would be me.
Oh, no, do you have Wi-Fi here? Oh my God, you guys are killing me here.
Hey, we should have, sure, they must have.
Because, I wanted to download the
We must have.
budget, but I can't. Yeah.
Everybody else?
We have Wi-Fi here, Jeremy?
Yes. I don't know what the password is at the moment, but.
Do board members
Ah,
have to sign
Joseph.
this guest or hi, honey? Good, how are you?
Yeah, anybody who's here for the executive board meeting that's not on the executive board or a staff member should sign as a guest.
Oh, Joseph.
I'm sorry. my control.
Whole group is here. Our church is already.
Did you come with Hazel, Joe?
You
know. Did you come with Hazel?
Hazel's not coming.
She's on.
Oh, she's on me.
Oh, sure it is.
Joe, do you know James?
Because everybody's getting upset with that.
What's his last
He's always
name?
online.
Baker.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
If the ramp's not set up and you're there before I am by some chance, then one gentleman to, and he'll make sure that the ramp is there.
I read.
You know, like,
Earlier. And kind of really talking because I couldn't come from here, more frankly.
I'd like to make it for the.
I think we should just go now.
Should I put that on Hazel?
Yeah. Yeah, we still haven't.
I mean, if I put a call,
We're still in executive.
so we have.
We have a forum, right? Go get the door.
We have a form.
Jimmy, are there masks here?
You're welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I need a safe,
Anyone think?
Thank you.
I need a safe time.
That's one.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get more. I'm gonna be out for the same.
All right, so we'll get started. We have a quorum. It is currently
Larry.
6:08 PM. This is the executive board meeting. It's Thursday, October 20th. Again, we have members that attended in person, and we have
10:30 and 12
folks
o'clock.
that are also online. So we'll get started. We'll get started with introductions, and then we'll just go around the room, introduce ourselves, and we'll go to the remote option and introduce ourselves there. My name is Yahe Obeid. I'm the chairman of Community Board 11. To my left is
Al D'Angelo, Vice Chair, Committee Board 11.
Roxanne Delgado, so.
Larry Moriello, and Alcan International Merchants.
Miguel Dyer, member of Community Board 11.
Charlene Jackson Mendez, I'm homeowner in Remnants.
Gene DeFrancis, Allerton International Merchants, American Legion.
Sign it, I want- Oh, Joe Thompson, community board member.
Serena Muniz, member of Community Board 11. And Veronica Castro, treasurer for Community Board 11.
We also have Jeremy Warnecki, District Manager, Community Board 11. So we'll go to the folks online. I see Hazel.
Hi, I'm Hazel Mura. I'm Chair of the Housing Committee and Secretary of the Executive Board.
All right. Chris Kirka.
Chris Kirkhoff, staff, community board 11.
All right, I'm gonna go to just continue with the familiar faces, then we'll go to the others. Harriet. Harriet, last year, are you on? All right, Malcolm.
Malcolm Gray, member of Community Board 11.
All right, Mr. Press.
Robert Press, pending application for Community Board 8, Community Board 11, pardon me.
All right,
Okay.
Diana.
Diana Finch here just as a member of Community Board 11, also on Bronx Park East Community Association Board with Hazel.
See Daniela.
I put it in your inbox.
Christy.
I got it.
Okay.
Hi, hey.
Is that Bernadette?
My name's on.
Yes, I'm a resident of Indian Village.
Oh, that's Daniela. Okay, Daniela, thank you.
Yes.
Christine.
Okay.
All right, anyone else that I missed? Some of the screen is blocked off here. I don't see you. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good evening, Jeanette Wilson, member Community Board 11.
Oh, hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
Anyone else would like to introduce themselves?
Hi, this is Renata, resident of Indian Village.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for dialing in.
Lori Peterson, member, lives in Indian Village.
Hi, Laurie. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, it's Harriet. My mouse wasn't working. Now it is.
Hey, Harriet. All right, good to hear you. Who else are we missing?
This is Doug, also of Indian Village.
Hi, Doug. I see you're dialed in using a phone number. So,
Yes, correct.
okay. Anyone else that we missed?
Michael Cass, resident.
Hello, Michael. All right, I think that's everybody. So we're going down the agenda. We're done with the introductions. We'll review the June 2022 minutes. Jeremy, are you able to pull them up?
I don't know if anybody did them.
Okay,
I
so
think Hazel, you emailed me something, but I don't remember what it was regarding. Do you know if it's leadership or exec board?
So if we didn't post them yesterday, we can't vote them on
Yeah,
anything
no.
anyway. So, okay, so we'll skip them meeting minutes.
We should make sure they get done though.
Yeah, definitely get done. It's probably recorded, so if we can get those done. All right.
If you need it, Jeremy, just let me know and I'll listen.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys can help with, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Veronica.
Um,
Veronica's
yeah.
doing the minutes today.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if somebody's doing the minutes.
I got it today, Hazel. Thank you.
All right.
Veronica volunteered after I asked her. All right, board member absences. Everyone remembers last year, well, we had a few board members that came up for removal. We focused a lot on attendance last year. We're going to continue to focus on that. So again, anyone who signed up to be a board member, it's a commitment. You committed to, a few hours a week. So you just have to, stay committed. I know it's tough. We all have families, we all have jobs, we all are part of different organizations, but we have to try our best to attend these meetings. And we have to inform the chairpersons of those committees that we're not going to make it to the meeting. For example, Hazel held the meeting this month. She didn't have a quorum. It would have been nice to know that she's not gonna have a quorum in advance. Instead of setting up a meeting, she could have canceled her earlier in the day or the day before. I understand there's traffic, people run into issues. That's understandable. But when it comes to virtual meetings, I mean, it's, you have to try a little bit harder. We got, virtual meetings still taking place up until October 22nd, this Friday. If the mayor decides to extend it, he'll extend it. I guess we won't find out until tomorrow.
Can you just clarify, extend what?
Extend the virtual meetings. So we have options now. So right now we have to meet in person, but offer virtual options. So those are the hybrid meetings. We have that option going forward as a board. But to have a full 100% virtual meeting, it ends tomorrow. That option ends tomorrow. So again, we're going to focus on absences. Anything from anyone from
Just to hold a meeting, we have to have a quorum in person.
Yes, definitely. That's for the hybrid option. We have to have the quorum first in person before we start looking at the online folks.
And just to clarify for everybody, it's the executive order that expires tomorrow. You could extend it.
Yes.
But that's what allows us to meet fully remote is an executive order by the mayor. There's the state and then there's the mayor.
Yep. All right. Anything else before we go to the fourth item on the agenda? All right, fourth item, committee assignments. So I asked the new members that joined the board if they can send me their top 3, top 2. I think we gave everybody almost what they wanted, what the committees they chose.
Yeah, some people got their second choices because
Yeah.
related to the absences and the quorum issues, you wanted to ensure that basically every committee had an odd number.
Yes.
Because it's easier to get a quorum.
Yep.
Sometimes it's easier to break a tie vote.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some committees that had 4 members in it. So if 2 show up, that's not a quorum. Because you need the third person, 3 out of 4. So we moved them up to 5, 7. I think 5 and 7 members are most of the committees. That's going to help us out hopefully with the quorum. And like Jeremy said, if there's a vote that comes up, it'll break the tie. I don't think we did any changes, right, Jeremy, to the current members that we had from last year? They didn't change any.
Well, one
committees?
person was taken off the Parks Committee. Again, that goes back to absences. They were taken off because of absences.
Okay.
One member resigned from the board. Salsabil
Yes.
resigned. I was gonna put that on the full board agenda just so the rest of the members are sending out an email, and then if you want to mention it at the full board agenda meeting, it's up to you.
Okay.
But that's really it to my knowledge.
Okay. Shrado. Someone said they didn't see Shrado on our list. So maybe when you amended the list for the community board members, he was taken off by accident. Just make sure he's still on the list.
Yeah, I'll check.
Economic development.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Chris do that.
The fifth item on the agenda, we're just going to discuss it, just a general discussion, because it's going to require us to go into executive session. And we don't have enough to discuss to make it worth to go into executive session, to either move to a different room with the executive board, but we also have some members that are dialed in, part of the executive committee. So it's going to be tough for us to do an executive session today, but we really don't have something that's really worth it. So we have some money in the budget. We have a request from all 3 staff members that are requested an increase. And we will be working on that. Jeremy sent us the request for his raise, and we plan as the executive committee to do a performance evaluation, and then we'll go from there. I have the form, but it's an old form. I just have to either, I'm requesting a form that I can edit, or I'm gonna have to start over because it's 5 pages long. And Jeremy will also evaluate his staff and give us the results so we can vote on their raise. So we have some time for that. we're not in a hurry to discuss that, right, Jeremy? We still have,
I mean, yeah, we,
basically
yeah,
until
if you
June,
want,
right?
yeah, if you want formal evaluations, that's all good.
So we have some time for that. What was that?
When is the deadline? to
I
be
think it's
able-
the fiscal year, right? We have until June 30th?
Yeah, but if we do it if we have,
Well, we're not gonna wait until June. I just
yeah,
want
I
to
can
let
work
everybody
on my
know.
you want me to do evaluations on Chris and Harriet,
Yes,
or I can do it for next month.
yeah, and the executive board will do one for you.
Okay.
When does that take effect, the raises?
Good question.
Whenever you vote on them.
Yeah,
Whenever we vote on it, I mean, we don't vote on it this month, it goes on and on and on.
yeah, the money is there. So basically,
Whatever it is, I'll get a chunk of money, whatever it decided, that's,
yeah,
it's $11,000, so how it's whacked up is just a matter of, but that's what they're gonna get, whether they get it now or get it in June, it's gonna be the same thing.
Okay.
yeah. Like Al said, the city budget, we have $11,000 left. We're hoping to keep, a couple of thousand, just in case we need it for anything that comes up, broken printer or whatever comes up. And then hopefully use the rest for the staff.
Well, the money that's budgeted, just so the money that's budgeted right now is specifically budgeted for the staff. We have other funds that are budgeted for office equipment and stuff like that, and incidentals.
Okay.
So there's different categories that it goes into. The 11,000 that Al is speaking about is specifically budgeted just for the staff. Doesn't mean we have to use the whole 11,000, but that money, it has been budgeted just for the staff.
Okay, and if we don't use the full 11,000, what happens? We lose the rest of
We
it.
could, I believe we could put in to have it moved if we need it for something else.
Okay.
But I'm just letting you know that there is already funds budgeted for office supplies and stuff like that, office equipment. But if we don't use it all, we can move it.
How about the office supplies? If we don't use that money, we lose it.
We can move stuff around, but Jeremy, do
All of
you
it
use the
is-
funds if you don't use the budget?
All of it is going to lose it by the end of the fiscal year. Last year, so this camera system cost, we took care of most of the money with the camera system, but I think we gave back 3 or 4. Harriet can verify $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, Harriet? Did we give like 3 back or something to the city? Still there?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we did. So, and like I said, it could be moved around as needed,
I don't,
but currently that's what's
Just
budgeted.
just so you're aware, I don't like giving money back. It's just, it's been really hard doing, all
Basically,
these
if we do
stuff.
give money back, they look at it as we don't need that much and they give us less the
We can use that to justify giving us less money.
Yeah.
Who would
Oh,
make the
'cause a lot-
decision?
Because a lot of community boards give thousands back every year, fortunately. Like my colleague in Community Board 12 always harps on that. Don't give money back, don't give money back. I think
No,
last year was the
good point.
first year I really gave money back. It's overwhelming trying to figure out what to do half the time. I want to put floodlights here. I don't know if you saw, we have floodlights on that side. Primarily because most members enter through here, but since when I'm here for these meetings, I like to have this up. It's easier for in and out. I think it'd be nicer if it was a little bit brighter for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anything else on item number 5? Anything from Hazel or?
Anything you say, Hazel? If not,
So we'll continue. 6:30, we have the public hearing for the budget, right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we got a few minutes, so hopefully we can, hopefully finish this so we can dial into that public hearing as well. Our gallery session, we have members of the public that are here today. Ms. Delgado, do you have anything?
As I stated, I just found the FY23 Community Board 11 request that was submitted. It was posted on the agenda for this public hearing was for FY22. So obviously the community is being held as a disadvantage because we're not getting the most updated information. And that's unfair because open meetings law requires when we have discussion what's put on the agenda, not only it's put on the agenda within 24 hours, but also it's pertinent to the meeting. So we're discussing FY24 at this hearing today at 6:30. But what was given to us on the agenda was for FY22, FY23, it's missing. Yeah, when I look at online FY23, it's quite different from what was submitted for FY22. So either reschedule the meeting or have him fix it because it's not fair for us to have a meeting on something The information was not provided to us, and the information probably was over 2 years old still.
If you want me to respond to that, yeah, just let me know.
It's online, FY 23. But what he posted on the agenda was FY 22.
Just basically same as,
It's not the same. I just looked over it,
okay, I mean, it's basically the same.
but it's not the same though. It's,
I understand, but we do have a new chair of the committee. We haven't had a chair since Andrew Siegel left the board. So Serena here is helping to change things.
I know, but it's you that posted this on the agenda.
I know, somebody at least did it, right?
Yeah, and that's incorrect.
Okay.
And that's
And
unfair.
I acknowledge that.
That's unfair for the community to rely on outdated data.
So remember, 6:30 is a public hearing. You can request whatever you want. It's
No, but it's not only to request, also some things are on this I might object to it.
Okay,
Some of these things are either redundant or been done or not, should not have been on the,
you can object.
how can I when I was not provided with FY 23 budget?
It's been online. It's online.
The one
It
you
is online.
posted, yeah, but the one you posted on the agenda was for FY 22.
I agree.
Most people didn't know that FY 23 was already
One
done.
reason we scheduled this before 48 hours is to give us enough time to work out these details between now and the full board.
Yeah,
Right, yeah, am I wrong?
Are we able to print out the correct one before the meeting and
Yeah,
put it
I
up
mean,
on the
That would
screen
be
for
helpful.
those that aren't here? Or we have,
yeah, I could pull it up, but
It's not right for us to rely on old data. It's, anything you do in life, information is value and timely information. To us, to expect us to, I know, like when he has that on his files, he put the wrong link.
well, where do I have it? Because I'll just Google it.
But when you submit it to the OMB, they respond to you with comments as to your request. And I was looking at some of the comments, why they said basically no funding, blah, blah, blah. But I just downloaded it because I was on the train.
Yeah, so you found it easily online, right?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, there you go.
have it.
Okay, do you have anything else? Any other items?
Yes, I do have. Bronxdale. Again, because you just imagined on his agenda, so last year, March of last year, did not put, he only put on the agenda DOT, did not put Bronxdale, just DOT. We did not have any knowledge that it was a Bronxdale road that I discussed. Then July 7th this year, DOT sent an email saying they were going to proceed with the DOT plan. He didn't respond. So this road that happened, the board was not notified about it, that even existed, was discussed. And second, we're not even notified they were going to proceed with that project. The only reason why I found out was, unfortunately, that poor lady that was killed by the car. I went to DOT's website to see, well, how did this happen? And DOT's website, we have met with Community Board 11 on March 3rd of 2021. Now, that's not fair. And now we're not only doing a public hearing, because if we had known this earlier, we can have made some adjustments to this plan, because I know that the DOT does try to make adjustments. They're going to proceed with this plan, but they could have made some adjustments. And they did not do the outreach. I spoke to some businesses. They said to me that DOT came up to them and said that we're going to do it regardless of what you think about it. I won't mention what businesses said that to me, but they said to me that they called the 409 priest. The 409 priest told them that DOT is going to do what they want. But we need a public hearing. There are blind spots right now. There's 2 children that have been confirmed that have been hit by the car since that road diet was implemented. People have suggestions they would like to make. No public hearing was held because Community Board 11 did not notify the public. So we really need a Bronxdale Road Diet meeting with DOT, public meeting.
We have your request. Any other items?
So would that be done?
We have your request. It will be discussed.
It's not my request, by the way, it's a community request.
Who's the
We
transportation?
have the community's request.
Who's the
Any other items you'd like to discuss?
Well, again, where's the accountability? Because the Community Board 11 failed to notify us, not only that the plan was discussed here, because it was not put on the agenda, minutes were not provided till a year after my email, and then when DOT notified Community 11 they're going to proceed with this plan, again, Community 11 did not notify us. The community is burdened with the fact the lack of Community 11 not doing their job. It's not right. This is a serious plan that was done with no community input. Community needs to have input on the plan. Now you say it was 95% done. It could be 1,000% done. The community still needs a public hearing to have their input. Many people from businesses have made suggestions that could improve this plan so children won't be hit by cars as 2 were done recently.
Who's the chair of transportation?
The rabbi.
Rabbi Fuchs.
Sure.
Yeah, DOT did come in March last year. They presented us with their plan. They said, this is a draft. We will come back. They never came back. They did what they want. DOT Commissioner today, Rodriguez, said Doesn't matter how loud your community is, doesn't matter how much resources you put into the opposing this. We are data driven. We will go by the data, no matter how loud you are. He was very clear about that today.
But the public hearing is
So-
not to stop the plan, it's. to-
I understand. We have your request. We have your
But when I
request.
made the request at the last transportation committee, they said the rabbi said they were asked, send an email. It took him for 4 weeks to do
So you
two.
brought up this request at the executive committee.
No, at the
I have your
transportation-
request. I understand you brought it up then. You brought it up now. We have that
When I
request.
spoke to DOT, they said they're willing to meet the committee, but the city, committee board 11 has to call the meeting, that they can't call the meeting.
Understood. Okay. Any other items you'd like to discuss?
Again, the budget thing, I think this should be rescheduled, the people 2-year-old data, I mean, we have less than 5 minutes for me to look through this, 20 pages of,
So I just want,
Yep.
can I clarify one thing? We've talked about this multiple times in the past. You don't have to wait for this one hearing to make a request. You don't have to make your opinion
the last
heard.
time you gave me the runaround, you told me I had to get petitions, I sent you emails,
If
you
you're-
ignored
if you're-
them, you didn't respond to them.
If you're serious about your request,
I am, why wouldn't I be serious? I'm here. If I wasn't serious, I wouldn't be here.
well, we could talk all night about this.
I don't want to talk on that
We
about it.
only have a certain amount of time left before the public hearing's supposed to
Yeah.
start, so you should, if you
But I
don't
want the
mind.
data, we have to.
We'll get that
Because
out.
there's items here that I think don't belong here or redundant or outdated. One project has
Before-
already been done and it's still here.
Right. Once,
Well,
this
if
is
it's,
finished,
if
we'll
it- unless it's
print it out.
completed, we leave it on there.
It's already been funded, DOT is going to proceed.
Okay, it's
this
great,
year.
it's funded, but unless it's completed, it's not finished. And you should leave it on there as a, you can speak to John Fratto, he'll tell you the same thing.
DOT already funded it, is they're going to do the work this year.
I understand,
It's
but
been
until the
approved.
work is done, until the project is complete, it should stay on a register of
Oh,
request.
never mind.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next member of the public. Larry, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, Charlene, do you have anything?
No, I just, but I will say that I think it would be helpful if when someone asks for something or brings up a concern that they are acknowledged. And I feel like part of the reason that things go on is because, like when Roxanne is bringing something up, what she's saying is not acknowledged by the person she's communicating to. And so it goes on. And like, I would have liked to have the chance to see the information that she's speaking of, particularly with regard to the budget. So the person she's addressing should at least say, I'm sorry, I didn't put the accurate information there. May I print you a copy? It shouldn't be that she has to beg and, fight for an error to be corrected. That's an obvious error because it makes the public feel like you're not interested in serving us.
No, well, Jeremy did acknowledge that he made a mistake, and we are going to print it out. He did say he would print it out after.
I think you suggested.
I
that you
suggested
do
it and Jeremy agreed.
I just acknowledged the error before you came.
In addition, I'd like to clarify while the public hearing is tonight. We made it tonight so we can give at least a week for Jeremy to draft up the statement. So we can vote on it at the full board next week. Now, Jeremy, are you okay with accepting public comment after the public hearing? If you get an email request after they view the data,
So
maybe
let's,
we can do it up until Wednesday next week?
let's clarify something. So everything does not revolve around me, or should not revolve around me, right? Because unfortunately, everybody wants to act that way. So in the past, and I've talked to Serena about this since she's new to this position. So she has a committee member, but largely it's been one committee member. So we had actually some interesting discussions, I think the first year of COVID, where we got a bunch of people on the committee. I know people didn't like some of the statements that I had put in there from years prior, from maybe when I first started this position. So I can type something up. I don't think we actually did the statement last year. I don't remember.
You just submitted, it's on OMN.
There's budget. So let's
It's on
be
the
clear on.
Mayor's office
Excuse
website.
me, Can I finish?
Okay.
There are two different things. There's a statement and then there's the budget priority report. The statement is supposed to be like a narrative overview of our request.
A summary.
So again, but for me to do it alone, it's unrealistic. It's just really unrealistic. And not fair. Because we're a team here, or at least we should be a team, and, I mean, Serena, you know, she's new to the position, she's had a lot of energy, but for that statement, I don't know, what do you want to say?
Okay, well, try your best. So you have Serena, you have
Mhm.
Malcolm on your team. You also have two staff members. It's crunch time. We got until October 31st to submit this. We have until October 27th to vote on it. as a
And we
full
probably
board.
have later than October.
So
31st.
sometimes we get put into high pressure situations. We're in one right now, so we'll work together as a team to hopefully get it done. My question to you is, are you and Serena, are you okay with continuing to get public input up until maybe, let's say Tuesday? That'll give you 2 days to work on the statement to give it to the full board on Thursday. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Jeremy?
Say it one more time, I'm trying to do two things.
So today's the public hearing, right? Because we had to submit to do the public hearing before the full board. So it put us in a position where we scheduled it today. So now it's fair to give the public another 5 days to submit something in writing. They can send you, or you can send Serena an email, or you, and then you can forward it to Serena. Work on it, on something to give to the full board next week. So let's say we give a deadline of Tuesday. Tuesday's the 25th by
Yes.
the end of business by 5 PM. Are you okay with that, Jeremy?
I mean, I'll do my best, you know.
That's all you can do. That's all you
And
can
I,
do is trust your-
and I shared in the chat, the register of budget priorities. It's
Okay.
for the entire city, to my knowledge,
Okay,
to get Artac to break it down. It should be on our website though, so.
okay. I just want to move on to the folks that are online from the gallery. Does anyone that's dialed in that has something?
Yes, I would like to say something, Yahay.
Go ahead, Bob.
As a former budget chair myself, who sat at budget negotiations with district managers and chairs of the board, and I was asked, what am I doing there? I'm not a chair or a budget or a chair of the board or a district manager. At the end of the day, the district manager who said that to me said, I'm glad you're here. You know what you're talking about, okay? It is unconscionable for this board not to have the prior year's budget request. Okay, I agree with the young lady who said that. All right. When I looked on, I see budget priorities year 2022. We're going into FY 2024. FY 2023 started July 1st of this year. All right. Plus, my other gripe, and I agree with her again, is there are no minutes that are printed. I was a part of the district service cabinet meeting as a representative for a council member. And I cannot find any minutes of those district service cabinet meetings. Are they disappeared? What happened to them? All right. And there's other meetings. And like it said, the traffic and transportation meeting, that was missing. All right. I don't think your district manager deserves a raise. He should be getting a demotion in pay. All right. And that's my opinion. So he's glad I'm not on that board yet, if I'm going to be on that board. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Can they?
I missed one person in the room. Gene DeFrancis, do you have
Sorry,
anything?
can you?
Good afternoon, good evening, hello. On behalf of the Allerton Merchants Association, I just wanted to touch base because it's been a while since I've attended one of the meetings for the executive board, and it's great to be in person again. Wanted to touch on two major topics, festivals. Recently, the community board approved a couple of festivals. It's not that we're trying to control festivals. However, when you put together a large street fair, it requires a lot. Rerouting the buses takes a lot of buses away from, it takes a lot of parking away from the corridor. It literally shuts down business. We can afford to do one. Ours was very successful due to COVID. We didn't do one last year and the years prior. This year we were ready to do one, but heard that there were 4 applications being processed, one by NIDC, one by a block association, one by a politician, and one by us. We withdrew ours immediately, just so it's clear to the public, when we heard there were 4 other, because we said, that's ridiculous. We can't do 4. There was many other reasons and situations, but we have to be able to communicate together. NIDC moved theirs to Bronxwood Avenue, which I thank them for. And the politicians just never formulated, can't come June, when we pulled ours. And then there was one, which was good, because you have the one street. However, we would like to do our festival again. And having 2, 3 and not communicating and not working together, it's not for us. It's not my festival. It's a community's festival. And we like to drive it towards family orient because that's what Allerton is. A lot of homeowners in that area. And we want to do something for them. So going forward, whenever there's a festival application, it affects our businesses a lot. And we need to make sure that they're on board. I speak to them every day. We have one representative or board member, you could say, on every single block that represents the block. So I just beg that upon the board that we have open dialogue and communication, especially if a third, fourth one, we just can't do it. We just can't. The other thing is upzoning, and it's a large conversation now. The executive board should be aware that when they excavated Holland Avenue, and the public too that's watching, when they excavated Holland Avenue, they put in the necessary infrastructure to build. Now, what does that mean? That means 2 things. One, it means they're targeting our homeowners on Holland Avenue and about a 3 or 4 block radius. Because when they put in new pipes, they expanded the pipes as well because they were corroded. But when they put in the new ones, they also put in larger ones. So what does that mean? It does mean that we are capable of building new buildings in the vicinity, Boston Road, Bronx Park East. We need to work together with the board, executive and the full board and the residents about our class sizes, about our police, and how many we have representing our community, because a lot of calls don't go to 911 because they have a helpless feeling that their calls aren't being responded to, even the simple quality of life ones. And our 409 precinct are overwhelmed. Something in the budget should be incorporated for a new precinct. Our precinct is outdated. There should be a new one if we're going to start talking about infrastructure and building so that they can have a capacity to do their job properly and sufficiently and comfortably. It would boost morale to have a state-of-the-art precinct.
Yeah, I agree.
And also I want to touch on tradition. Traditionally, when you upzoned one area, you downzoned another. That didn't happen. So on Williamsbridge Road, we had, and they were actually trying to upzone family members' private homes. There were 3 private homes, 4 private homes alongside the lot that was looking to build. They wanted to include that and encompass that in the upzoning. And fortunately, the previous borough president shut that down, and I thank him for that. But there was an upzoning that happened, and quickly, without really community involvement. But nothing was downzoned. Now, there's going to be a couple of other areas on Boston Road that have the physical capability of being built. The Fine Fair, I know they came in. I've had conversations with Fine Fair. It's a great group. I'm concerned about who would be the property manager. I'm hearing some names that I won't say publicly yet because it's just rumor. But they have properties in the South Bronx that are being neglected and they don't take care of the residents. So I spoke with the property manager. First of all, Fine Fair is a very uncomfortable supermarket as it's structured because it's very small aisles. So building there would expand that supermarket so it's more suitable for the residents. We spoke to them about parking. They actually offered valet parking, which if they're true to their word, that is a great addition to our community. And I want to speak to you about a charter school in our area of a nearby vicinity, because if we're going to have 300-400 new people, we need a few more classrooms. Whether we can discuss that because we could go on forever with this. I want to cut this short and say we're not a yes, we're not a no, but we've had good dialogues with those developers, and they did it the right way because they spoke to the community. We vetted and we spoke at our meetings. And if anybody is interested in attending one of our meetings, we're hoping to schedule them for this Tuesday. So you're all welcome to attend. We don't video record our meetings usually, but we do keep minutes. And it's at the Sands, 815 Allerton Avenue. So we encourage residents to give us their feedback and input on anything going on in Allerton, as we always do. Things were a little rocky the last 2 or 3 years because we were just trying to keep small businesses alive. It was very difficult, and we lost several good ones. There are a lot of retirees. Fortunately, some of them pass it on to their next generation, and we're still recovering. from the shutdowns. It's not necessarily the pandemic, it was the reaction to the pandemic, that small businesses couldn't survive, and the grants that they were offering weren't easily accessible as they could have been or should have been for small businesses. And we could get into that at another time. But thank you for your time. And since there's members of Indian Village in the audience, my personal recommendation is seek landmark status. The board can help you explore that as well. And we at Allerton are more than happy to assist you in seeking landmark status. That'll give you ultimate protection of your community and your quality of life. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for that. Jeremy, are you able to start the public hearing? While we're here, because this is gonna go for a while. Members that would like to attend the public hearing, they can step to one other room, to the front office. Because I don't want to delay that, then it's a domino effect. It's gonna delay leadership.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't know how to realistically, like, just to go up in the front of the office, and I don't know if that,
Do you have another computer up there that you can dial in and be a host of that while we manage this?
yeah, it won't be. I can try it. I don't know.
Yeah, give it a shot, because even if that starts, it's gonna be different from leadership. Oh, I think we lost.
You could just shut down the computer.
No, he just minimize it.
Let's just,
What time is your meeting?
7 o'clock.
oh, maybe I did shut it down. What happened? Or I hit something maybe.
I think it's there again.
Yeah, it's bottom right. Yep, there you go. So, yeah, because Jeremy, the public hearing might be a while, and we can do the public hearing while the leadership committee is going on at the
I
same
mean, we
time.
have one registered speaker that I know of.
Yep.
Let
We'll
me see what I
continue,
can
we'll
do.
continue while you work on that.
Reschedule
You
it
finished
tomorrow.
before.
The data is
We
outdated.
could just reschedule it too before the full board.
Data is outdated. You can't use outdated data. It's like no one in a job uses outdated data.
Can I say something about that though? It seems clear to me that the data was easily accessible by the public.
No one
You
would-
found it.
No one else would have found it. I'm not.
Okay, I understand not everyone is,
Most people.
you know,
haven't
not,
found it.
well, not everyone is so technically savvy,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's easy as doing a Google search.
But most people even.
That was how you found it, correct?
No, I
Yeah.
found it because I know about.
Because I just watched Jeremy do it in like 2
Because
seconds.
I told him it was where it was.
Right, but you asked him for it and he gave it to you. He gave it to now everyone.
He didn't give it to me.
I'm sorry?
He didn't give it to me.
So it's,
So the question really is do we want to have the
yeah,
public hearing now, or do we want to just reschedule it? And if we reschedule it, how do we notify the people that we're going to attend it?
Yeah,
Can I suggest something? Can we schedule it for before the full board, like usually we would do it?
So, Chris, we have,
what you want here a minute ago?
Can we schedule it?
we don't have enough time to do a statement before the full board and vote on it that night. It'll be too much for anyone to do. So, well, how about moving it to Monday at 7 PM? Monday at 7 PM?
There is something on Monday at 7 p.m.
Do we have something Monday, 7 PM? I don't think we do.
We usually don't have it.
Let's check right now.
I know.
Health is on Tuesday.
I know
I
that
think
we,
it's on Monday.
ethics is Monday then.
Ethics is Monday. What time is ethics?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Maybe we can do the public hearing for 6 o'clock.
Again, it's like, yeah.
6 o'clock Monday. Are you okay with it? Well, I want to ask the main person.
Yes, I'll be here.
Thank
6
you.
o'clock.
Jeremy.
So it's going to be virtual?
A virtual?
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Yeah, I'll be at work at 6 o'clock on Monday.
Okay, what time do you finish work?
Well, I get out legit, honestly, at 6 o'clock, and I work in the city.
Well, okay, because it's going to be Zoom, but it's tough when you're taking the train. So what if we push it to 8? Is 8 better? Because we can have ethics at 7.
I have
8
an
is
8
too
o'clock
much.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
8 o'clock. Well, you know what? We can have 2 meetings at the same time. It doesn't, I'm not opposed to it. It's a public hearing. It's not, attendance is not mandatory for members. So that meeting is designed to hear from the public. So what if we push it till 6:30? Is that better, Malcolm?
It takes me like an hour to travel up back from where I work.
Okay.
Yeah, but 7:30ish, I should be fine with me if we could do that.
Friday's empty. It's not on Friday. It's not on Friday.
So my only concern is
Yeah,
that,
tomorrow.
so
Can you do it tomorrow?
Tomorrow I could do that. I'm working from home tomorrow, so yeah.
7 PM tomorrow?
I
Yeah.
can do tomorrow.
yeah, the only, our Jewish members tend to make an issue of that.
That is true.
It's okay. You know, they could email.
I'm just letting you know. I know they're not in the meeting tonight, but
So how about 7:30 on Monday?
Malcolm said he can do
So,
7:30.
so the only concern is ethics. So,
Ethics, I don't think we have too much. I'd have to ask John and Naomi, but it shouldn't take long. If we have our meeting at 7, we probably could be finished by 7:30.
It's a half an hour, right?
It could last long.
If
If
there's
other
nothing- if
people
there's-
are gonna be there
Okay,
complaining.
so just to be clear, I do have an 8 o'clock, so I thought it was a half an hour.
Public
it's-
hearings, it depends on how many people come
Okay,
and
Yeah.
who wants to speak. It could be half an hour, it could be 2 hours.
2 hours,
It depends.
okay, okay.
Last year, it was only 2 minutes. I was the only one there.
Yeah.
Friday's no good, why,
It
Jeremy?
depends on- Yeah, like you said, sometimes it can
Jewish,
take less than that.
Sunday. Sunday.
The Sabbath.
All right, so, from Saturday was 7.
Well, Friday night is sunset Friday.
Yeah, we can-
Only with here.
But, yeah, I mean, tomorrow could be fully remote, but,
I can do tomorrow. But
Even still with the Jewish members, that's not gonna apply.
yeah,
You can't sign into as a Jewish member of the board, you can't sign into a computer.
right.
Pretty short notice to.
This one.
yeah, there's not really much.
How's Monday? Do it go
Let's do
Monday.
Monday. I'll figure it out. We can do Monday.
I do have,
Monday would give us more time.
So Monday, what time are we going with?
But there's a holiday on Monday. Well, I don't know what
7:30.
holiday this is. That's a holiday, but.
it's,
Is it
Diwali.
Diwali? Diwali.
I mean,
I don't know.
This is a
We're
rough
still
month.
having
There's
a-
a lot of different
the
holidays.
chair of the ethics committee is Indian and,
Hmm.
he's having a meeting Monday night, so I don't know if anyone else would be really concerned. I don't know. I can't speak for,
Do we know if there's anybody waiting to get onto the public hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have a community member who's waiting. She tried and she's asking me how, what's going on.
Yeah.
We can't,
Jeremy, can you dial in using your phone and just let's go with Monday at 7:30? And hope it finishes in a half hour. If it doesn't, Malcolm can take over at that time.
If it doesn't, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll be here.
Okay, so let's go with Monday at 7:30.
we-
Jeremy, you can dial into that meeting
And
and
also,
just let
to
them
make
know.
sure that they
it's
sent the
posted.
data, the most recent data,
Mhm.
because most people don't know fiscal year. They're not counted. They
Right.
assume it's FY 23, but it's FY 24.
You got it.
so, all right, so any other galleries for? the-
Yeah, we're gonna go with the gallery because we have another 10 minutes before leadership starts.
Anybody else in this?
Any members from the public? We do have another meeting that starts in 10 minutes. That's the leadership meeting. You will also.
Yeah,
have
I'd just like to say something. I really have never seen anything like this. This is unprofessional. You're making meetings at the last minute. People you haven't asked, I mean, I won't be able to attend Monday's meeting and I wanted to speak at the public hearing. All right, it's not fair to the public that you're doing this. And I didn't know that I could be in person there. I wanted to be in person. Okay?
Okay.
You guys are doing things at the last minute and it's wrong.
Okay, thank you for that. Again, if you cannot attend on Monday, you can send instead of speaking at the public hearing, you can send an email.
I don't have the FY 23 even. It's not available. I'm not as smart as the person there who found it.
Jeremy
You
will
can
send
click on the link. It's in the chat. If you can't click on the link, I can't help you there, Bob.
I'm watching the meeting now. I can't click on it.
So,
We'll update the
I'm gonna keep
agenda.
it simple.
But
Jeremy will
And
send
I
an
emailed it out to the public.
Okay, so Jeremy will send an email informing the public of a public hearing at 7:30 PM on Monday, and he will attach that into that email.
Let me just say one thing more, Yahe. This reminds me of another community board where the public hearing was held, and I was told, well, here is our budget priorities, right at the meeting. Okay, we can't just look at it in 1 second or even a day or two. We need sometimes more, a week or two to look at it to make sure we know what we're thinking. All right.
Yep.
And I'm saying that as an ex-budget chair. Okay, this should be done through the executive board or your leadership committee, where the budget chair talks with the committee chairs and the committee chairs talk with their members and the public. Well, but unfortunately, you don't have any public members.
Like Jeremy explained earlier, we were put in a situation where the chair of that committee resigned in April, and we didn't have a chair, and we went into the summer recess, and here we are, crunch time, we gotta do it, we gotta submit it, and
And you know what? Yeah, hey, when I took over as budget chair, the district manager taught me what I had to do. Okay, the district manager should know what to do because they're the one who goes to the budget
All right,
priorities.
I want to go to the rest of the members of the public. Sorry
Thank
to
you.
cut you off, Bob. Again, we do have another meeting that starts at 7 PM. If any member of the public that would like to hold off until we get to that leadership meeting, they're more than welcome. But if you want to say something in this meeting, I want to continue with the gallery session. Any other members of the public? I see someone raise their hand. Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, Hayward, wanted to speak, but I wanted to make sure, do I have to raise my hand before I'm called on?
Yes.
All right. Because I can't find where the thing is to,
I have you. You'll be.
After Laura, you'll speak, Irene.
Yeah.
All right,
you'll be
thank you.
Lori, Diana, and, yep. Go ahead,
So
Lori.
I just have a quick question. I really never go on these. I just got more involved. And why would we schedule meetings for just a half hour? Like it's 6:30, 7:30. I just want to know like why. I like I said, I'm never really on these things. I just started getting more involved. Why wouldn't we just make them a little bit longer so that something like this wouldn't happen?
So to answer your question,
Yes.
the executive committee or the executive board, when we meet, our meetings almost never go over a half hour.
Oh, okay.
So that's one. Two, public hearings, each member of the public gets 2 minutes to speak. So that half hour is more than sufficient because one, we only have one request for one public member to speak. We can have more that can dial in and speak, but let's say we have 10. So that gets you to about a 25-minute meeting because it's just to hear from the public. We're not going to respond that day. We take notes, we take your requests, and we move on. So those 2 half-hour meetings would normally be sufficient.
Okay, I'm just curious, on why.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We know other meetings like leadership usually lasts an hour and a half. Our full board meeting usually lasts 2 or sometimes 3 hours. So we're aware of other meetings. Some of these meetings are normally quick. Like we mentioned, ethics is usually quick. I think last year we had an ethics meeting that was 6 minutes long. So Diana Finch, before I go to Irene.
Yes, I was wondering if we could have, for the board members, a geographic distribution. I know we have, like demographics, age, race, but I wondered if we could also have geographic distribution so we could see which areas of the district have a lot of representation, which might have very little. For instance, the Parks Committee, I think, should really have people from Pelham Parkway and Bronx Park East, since there's 2 such large parks in those areas. Lisa Soto is a great chair, but I think we need more people on that committee. And then I had a question about membership on the Housing Committee. What is a citizen committee member? I
So
think Mr. Press has said he's a citizen committee member of a committee, and I just wanted to know what that was.
Okay, so the first thing is regarding the geographic, that's a good idea. We'll work on it. We have your request. The second item regarding Parks Committee and having members from Pelham Parkway. I agree. I hope we do have members that are in the Pelham Parkway area. I hope they raise their hands because we do need some help in parks in that committee. And once we do the geographic part, then maybe we can even suggest it to those community members. Lastly, the community, it's a member of the public that is on a committee. They can be appointed to the committee by the chairperson of the board. So once they're assigned, they don't have any voting rights, but they are there. They're basically a member. They're a member without voting rights. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Mr. Press, I think he requested to join the housing committee meeting, but as of now, he has not received anything in writing that appoints him because our bylaws require any public member to be appointed. They must have it in writing. And right now, we don't have anything in writing yet, but I will meet the chairperson of the housing committee and we will work on that request.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Irene?
First, I want to thank all the Mothers Against 1900 who are on. I would like the board to recognize them not only as a group, but also as active mothers who are going to be fighting for the cause of keeping 1900 from being changed into having inmates in our communities. But my greatest concern is that as a former board member,
and your former district leader, there has to be a better way of informing our communities when things are coming into their communities and changing them geographically or in any other way. We're very concerned because we found out about 1900 much later, and we were the ones passing out the flyers, knocking on doors, and gathering everybody for the town hall meetings and the public hearing. So as we continue fighting for this and protesting, I want to make sure that a community board 11 understands that, you know, as advisory boards, you guys work for the people. Make sure you consider and be sensitive to the people who live in the communities and the residential areas. I thank God for all of you for being on the board and giving up your time. I know it's a volunteer, but we have to consider that we're very active mothers and we're going to be at every meeting. And Jeremy, if you would do us a favor to give us keep us informed on time, and if you, maybe you guys need a better system of notifying the people, because the people didn't know about Indian Village. They didn't know about Just Homes in enough time to fight. But we are fighting and we're not going away. So just know that in all your meetings, you're going to have a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers from the group Mothers Against 1900. Thank you, Yahay.
All right, thank you. I think we were made aware.
Can I just say something? I'm sorry. The
Irene,
community-
you were made
Yes,
aware.
sir.
Hi.
Everyone was made of,
Hazel,
I
hold
can't
on.
hear you.
everyone was made aware of it, Irene, as soon as I found out. The night I found out, it was out that night and the next day. So it was all over. The community board did it. I put it on Facebook all over the place. I called Jeremy and told him to get it out the next day. So that's not true that you didn't know. You knew the same day I found out, you knew.
Well, the thing is not so much about whether we know right now and where we are right now. What I'm saying is that the information that comes from the board, there has to be like an email system. There has to be, listen, when politicians run for office, they send out all your campaign information right to your door. Why can't they do the same thing when there's a notification of a change in our communities?
We're not running for office.
Okay, Hazel, you had something?
No, I was going to say the same thing that Al said. The community found out as soon as we found out. We blasted everybody. So please don't say that you did not know. Like Al says, we found out on a Monday, everybody knew on Tuesday.
But that was
So-
but what I'm saying to you, Hazel, is that the families and the residents from Indian Village are the ones that needed to be informed. Now, maybe
Everybody was informed. Irene,
everybody
everybody was informed.
Everybody
So
does
please
their own
don't
share
tell
of
me that
work.
they weren't.
No. Everyone does their own share.
Because things started to happen right away. We started to have meetings right away. People started talking right
No.
away. So please don't
No,
say
so
that.
what I'm saying to you and the board.
Ladies,
I mean, it's too much.
okay,
So there's somebody else that.
Irene, hold on, Irene.
I can't hear you, Irene.
Can't hear you.
Irene, hold on. Jeremy had to mute everybody.
Diana Fisher
Again,
has her hand raised.
Again, we are working on improving communication. Jeremy received an email a couple of days ago regarding, I think, parks. And I said, forward it to the public as soon as possible. We're not holding back any information. We don't gain anything from holding back any information. Sometimes things are done unintentionally. Like you said, you were on a board. We're volunteers. We try our best. We're not perfect. We continue to work at it. We hear from the public. And when we're wrong, we'll say we're wrong. We need to work it. Again, this is a work in progress. And we will continue to work on it. Any other members of the public that would like to speak before we move on to the, no, she spoke already. From the public.
Somebody, okay.
Yep, I see raising her hand. Daniela? Go ahead, Daniela.
Yes, hi, good evening. I just had a question. It's concerning the 1900 Seminole and also concerning Jeremy. I seen his news, he was on the news, what was it, BronxNet? And he made it seem like our community was a bunch of bad people. He has to understand that a lot of us were irate in the very beginning because it was just basically thrown in our laps. Most of us bought our homes to live the American dream, not to live an American nightmare. Okay? And I just feel that Jeremy was against Indian Village in that, and shame on him for that interview. That's all.
Okay, so thank you for your input. Again, I asked Jeremy to be on there. Community board has not voted on this initiative, on this project, whatever you want to call it. So we have to remain neutral. Jeremy was asked questions. I did listen to it a couple of times. He followed my directions. I said, you can't take sides. He did mention, he said the majority of the residents are against it. Now, a question was brought up. How did people act in that meeting? He was honest. It was a meeting that we tried our best to manage. It was unmanageable, but we did our best.
So what's at the door?
Some members of the public could have acted or behaved better. I understand there's a lot of frustration, but the frustration should not be towards an advisory board, because at the end of the day, we vote against it. Our vote doesn't mean anything. We sent a letter to DOT to stop the Bronxdale project. They have not stopped anything. We hired, when the Morris Park came up, we voted against it. There was an attorney hired by the community.
No, I understand.
We
Yeah.
lost.
My only point is the character assassination that was made only for a couple of bad apples that had to make everyone else look bad. Because our community, we have lovely, loving, wonderful mothers, fathers, single people, loving people.
And
Okay.
that's what it does.
Daniela, I called Gary Axelbank the next day after I saw the interview. My argument wasn't with Jeremy. My argument was Gary Axelbank brought somebody on that was in favor of it. He didn't bring somebody on that was against it. They wanted somebody who was going to be neutral. So Jeremy tried to be as neutral as he could be, and that's not fair. That's like having being in a boxing ring and not being able to defend yourself.
Yep.
So that was my argument with Gary Axelbank. He
So-
said he would try to correct it.
Well, he said, he didn't ask for someone neutral. He asked for someone from the community board. But we have to act neutral, because as soon as I got that request, I sent it to the BP's office. It went through the legal department. They came back to us and said, you cannot speak to the media against this proposal because you have not voted on it as a board. And only the chairperson can talk to the media unless they appoint someone else to speak. I was thinking about appointing Al. And then the legal department at the BP's office said, if you appoint Al and he speaks against it, one, he's not supposed to. Two, he's going to lose his right to vote when it comes up, because now it creates an appearance of a conflict of interest.
Right.
So he did not want to lose his vote. We do have a non-voting member that I asked him to be as neutral as possible, and I think he did a good job in that interview. So with that, do we have any other members before we go to old business and new business? Because I want to go to the next meeting.
This is Chris, staff. Let me clear it up a little bit with Danielle. Not only Jeremy was given the authority by the chair to be neutral, but you got to understand, Jeremy's staff, we are paid. We're city workers. We cannot express either yes or no because we represent the city.
You're conscrewing my words. I never said to vote yes. This has nothing to do with that. It's in the clip right before they showed a clip of everybody at the meeting, right? And everyone's yelling, and Jeremy's like, yeah, well, that's what it was. Like, you're not saying that his vote or what he's for or he's against it. Honestly, I don't care if he's for or against it. He has his individual right. Okay, my gripe is.
But that's what you don't understand. He's not an individual. That's the difference.
Okay.
As an individual, as Chris Kirk, I can speak as a resident, but as a staff, I cannot say anything.
Chris, Danielle.
Yeah, this way we
So
can
Danielle.
see.
No, I mean, I'm saying all this for a clarification. So Jeremy didn't do it because you wanted that way. He did it because that's what.
So just one thing. So one thing, please. I'm glad Harriet Lasky's here in the meeting. She's been with the board since 1980. And when she saw some of the videos, she thinks it's the worst meeting we've ever had. Now, granted, this is when she's been at meetings told to go back to Russia. They firebombed a place. Okay, that didn't happen at the meeting though, but what from she saw at the meeting, probably the worst meeting we've ever had.
Okay, so again, Daniela, here's what happens. This is what the media does. The media is really good at it. They take the negative things, something that's gonna show people, something that's gonna attract attention, and here it is. That's it. It could have been a 99% clean meeting. They're gonna use that 1% to attract attention. So with that being said, I'd like to move on to old business,
I think so.
new business. All right, so it is 7:09 PM. Executive board meeting has ended, and we'll dial into the leadership meeting.
Let me have the agenda for the leadership meeting.
No,
Yes, hold on. I didn't want people to confuse. Okay, we're ending this meeting. There's a leadership committee meeting, which was emailed out to everybody on our public distribution list, on our website.